had it not been for his friends, had he not had friends that had faith in Jesus themselves, that were able to push through the crowds and carry him to Jesus, he wouldn't have been healed. His sins wouldn't have been forgiven. And so I just wanted to kick off today with that story, because it's inspiring and it's touching just to know that your friends can carry you.
Test.
Jesus?
I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
I know I did that good. I just read the scripture.
Connection for me, I always say I feel like I'm deeply connected with people, but I don't feel like I have connections with people. Sometimes that helps, sometimes that deters me from going forward the way that I need to. I know that I need extra support sometimes. And sometimes I'm just even nervous to speak out and say what I truly really need. Like sometimes I really, and I've been vocal about this, sometimes I come to church on Sundays ready to get hugs. Like, it's for the word and for some hugs, because those hugs take me through the week, and when I come on Wednesdays, I can give me some extra hugs to finish the week out. So y'all never know what that support means to other people, what that connection means to other people. I told the story about how I got here with Stephanie, and that was heavenly and God sent, because I wouldn't be here today without that incident happening. So connection is real. We came from working at Sears together. Sears been closed for you're not that older, but
We were there way before they closed.
yeah, and that makes it sad.
Thank you. Oh my God. So yeah, I just want to piggyback off Alexis. I've told you all before, I think the last time I taught a lesson, I told you all how I grew up not receiving hugs. I knew my mother loved me, but it wasn't shown, it wasn't displayed just because of how she was raised. And so, similar to Alexis, it's a childhood trauma, basically, where there's fear of vulnerability, there's fear of openness, and the enemy really uses those things, because those are two of the most important things for connection, is to be open and be vulnerable and tell others what you need, so that they even have the opportunity to be able to help you and assist you with those things. And so, that's kind of what we want to focus on today, is just seeing what we need. We really want it today to be interactive because it's connection. So we want to just discuss what we all need and how we can be there for one another. I think it's very important with Alexis and I, again, not aging ourselves, but we came up with the internet. And so we have to think about the generation before us and the generations after us, and how having the internet and social media has molded us. Because now, online, there's a lot of talk about a loneliness epidemic. Kids spend so much time online and not with other kids, and even myself sometimes. I have to delete social media apps off my phone because it's subconscious, just picking it up and scrolling, you know what I mean, looking for that dopamine. And so I think we need to kind of focus on what we need for ourselves and what we can give to others to help strengthen our connections in a practical way. Right? We all love Jesus. We can be really churchy sometimes. But sometimes I'm going through something. Like the scripture, I know the scripture. So you repeating back to me don't really help. Tell me practically how, I can get through being a single mother, or how I can get through, being unwed and being a person, being a human person, right? And having needs and desires and wants and things like that. And so I think that's also where having a connection with the different generations, you get to access different levels of wisdom, get practical tips on how to help one another and be there for one another. So I'm co-hosting. I need you to understand.
I'm driving this boat. Sorry. Okay, so we're just gonna, we kind of talked about why we all need each other. And she bled over into bridging that gap, the gap between us older, and please forgive me if I'm saying the wrong phrase. Okay. You know, some people are like, don't be calling me older, don't call me seasoned. But yeah, but older and younger. I don't feel like I'm the younger generation. When he told the young people to stand up that one time, I was looking around like,
Really, unless like, do we count? Because we got a Jay in here. You know what I mean? Like, are we younger? Like,
yes. So, and forgive us, we are going through notes. When it comes to older and younger women, we are going to focus on Titus 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so 3 and 5, it says, in the same way, older women are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers, not slaves to excess drinking. They are to teach what is good, so that they may encourage the young women to love their husbands and to love their children, to be self-controlled, pure workers at home, kind, and in submission to their husbands, so that God's word will not be slandered. And to piggyback off of Stephanie, I joked with Sister Grayson yesterday and Sister Stephanie. I was like, I think I need to be redipped, like it's wearing off. And while that's a joke, and I was telling her, in order to make it, you guys celebrated years of being married together yesterday. And while we aspire for something like that, in reality, for me to make it being 30 years of a Christian woman, and I'm only year 1, how am I going to make it that far? How will I really be able to wake up every day and act as if I'm supposed to be acting? There have just been some things that have been happening personally in my own life that I have been struggling with. Like, how do I fight through these things? And like you said, with deleting social media, that's our first answer. But honestly speaking, that's not the actual answer, because we're still fighting these same battles. When we delete these pages, we're still silently fighting these battles, and social media doesn't heighten them, because whatever you think in your brain, it comes on here. So it takes the thought away, it takes the anxiety away, but it doesn't take anything away. It doesn't take the worldly views. And what I would like to see is who can we be even outside of here? It's okay on Sundays to be this God-filled woman and this great woman, but what happens Monday through Saturday? We talked about the connection even with the women who come in here. I talked with Paris, and I wish she was here. She was telling me how when she was coming in on evening service, had I never just talked to her, she was like, I would have left that out. And it wasn't that nothing would have been wrong here, it was just a welcoming. So how do we exemplify really being godly women, really having that godly strut about us and making it those 30 years, if year 1 and 2 is hard, or year 3 and 4, like how do we make it that far?
it's hard to not isolate, especially in the age range that we are in. I'm the same age as y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for us not to because we grew up in the internet era and stuff like that. But it's also a thing of reality. Like, we have to be able to say, okay, I don't want to self-isolate. Because I was very numb for the first year after COVID. Like, I would just do Zoom at home. I'm still at church. My mom was like, can you please come visit? And I was like, I guess. So it's hard, but it's getting to be better for people. And even in, like I said, in my therapy, we're learning how to communicate with people properly. I did this thing a week ago and went to a cat cafe. Y'all would never catch me at a cat cafe, but I did it just yeah. It's a cafe where you go, and it's like an adoption cafe. It's in Farmington, and if you want to adopt a cat, you can, but it's there. So, but it's a way of community.
Yeah. And I think that's so important what you said, because I was actually gonna head there next partially. So, same as you, I found the therapy, and that's how I kind of identify like my childhood wounds and my needs, because I have a tendency to self-isolate, and I work from home. So my kids are older, so I can go days without talking to anyone. Luckily, like Sister Miles and Sister Smith, will reach out to me and say, hey, Sister Gibson, I'm just checking on you. Leslie, she's not here, but these are people that just randomly text me all throughout the week, and I might be late responding just because, sometimes I try to put the phone somewhere else to keep myself off of it, but I really appreciate it, because it's been times that I actually was sitting and someone here texted me and I started crying, because I knew that was God reaching out to me at that moment. Maybe I felt alone, or I was struggling with something that I hadn't verbalized to anyone. And that brings us to, like, we want to talk about okay, so the activity.
So now that we have said all of this and you have heard from the younger generation, I would like to choose at least, or if someone can volunteer from the older generation, at least 2 or 3 women. What is some true practical, not wake up and pray, because that sounds.
And that's real, right?
It's
So
real.
that's real, and that's the first thing. That goes without saying, really, at this point, right?
Mhm.
Wake up, connect with the source, abide in Him. But when you're actually out in the world, practically, right then and there in that moment, you pray, and then what do you do?
My older generation.
And this is advice.
I don't want to pick you guys out.
Any type of
I don't want to
advice.
take you to your school days.
I can say something, words with each other, but I was thinking about what you said about last night. You just mentioned it there. Said I feel like I need to be dipped again because it's wearing off. And what it is typically people get baptized when they're younger. Ecclesiastes say, remember, you're created in the days of your youth. Y'all still young, but guess what? Y'all were in your 30s when you got baptized. Y'all have lived, so usually when people are baptized, they get baptized 10, 11, 12, 13. They haven't experienced a lot of stuff. So you have experienced a lot of stuff that's still there that you're dealing with. When someone's 12, 13, 14, they ain't dealt with nothing, so they're learning. Then you all have to relearn your life, basically. You're gonna have to relearn and change a lot of things that you have learned in order to become,
So let me ask a question to that. Do you feel that some connections? Oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
And people on Zoom as well, please, if you guys want to chime in on this question, please chime in. The question is, what, as an older sister, what piece of advice could you give to a younger sister? What would it be? It doesn't have to be with what we're talking about. It could just be what piece of advice helped push you through and what was hard for you.
But to your question, I feel like I'm in a struggle when you say that you have to grow and learn and relearn. A lot of that growing and learning and relearning, a lot of that is breaking those connections
yes.
and those hurt. So how do you continue to grow when you're literally breaking connections? Like, how does grass or concrete grow when you're breaking it up? How do you become that better version of yourself when, I mean, honestly speaking, your world is tearing apart, people are tearing apart.
Yeah.
When you get baptized, that discernment becomes real, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I see you. Whoa.
Yeah, that's the Holy Spirit is showing you what I need to change. And it's a total flip-flop. You have to change on purpose. Whatever we do is on purpose. The choices we make are purposeful. You know, we can't think the same way we used to think. We can't talk the same way we used to think. We can't hang out with the same worldly people we used to hang out with, the same worldly places we hang out. We can't do that. Some bad habits we may have used to have, we can't do that. But it's all good though, because everything we need to change is probably something we should be doing in the first place. You know, so it's all good. Change is all good. So anything that's changing is growing. Y'all are growing right now. And I see the growth in both of y'all. I'm so proud of both of y'all. Y'all are growing and I see it. Y'all are trying. You know, nobody's gonna be perfect. We're not perfect up in here. We are trying every day. It's an everyday battle. It's every day. You have to make choices 24/7. Every second is a choice. Everything we do is a choice. Somebody may make me mad. I might want to go off. You know, but it's a choice not to.
If that's a choice.
It's a choice not to. Yeah. That's one thing I'm not gonna. There's one thing I don't do. People come at me. It's a choice not to do. It's a choice. You know. So sometimes I mess that choice up, but you know.
The other thing, Alexis, about 20 years ago, a good friend, a good sister here, came back to church. She grew up here, and she kind of strayed away, and she strayed her way back into the church. And she knew that she had to make some changes for, you know, the type of people and everything. So she was very intentional. She created a group, and we are 20 years strong. And she created a group. She invited a bunch of ladies, a bunch of us in her age group. And back then we were like in our late 30s, early 40s at that point. And we all met over at another sister's house, and we just started talking, having conversations like this. And from that conversation, this core group sort of started, you know, forming, and it was very organic. And then we were somewhere else, and someone else heard us talking, and this core group heard us talking about an outing that we were going on. And this person said, I want to go too. She inserted herself. She made herself vulnerable and said, I want to be with you guys too. And like I said, this group now is easily 20 years old now. So you have to have intention and purpose. So if you guys want connections, you have to put yourself out there to make connections. It's almost like being on a dating app or something like that and swiping left. You know, you're gonna kiss a lot.
What you do about white?
I got kids y'all age. That's a whole lot of stuff I know. I got kids y'all age.
So what
And that's another thing too, as an older sister, because I do have children your age, I make it my business to know. When Facebook got popular back in the day, oh, we had sisters up here, we was all moles, we was all on Facebook, when y'all was on Facebook as teenagers, because we wanted to know what you were doing. So, you know, we made it our business to, you know, and I try to stay on top of those things just so that I can relate, because we have to be relatable to one another too. So, you know, those are just kind of, you know, stay relatable and be open to creating, be intentional in creating what you want.
Okay. So I hear intentionality with connections. I hear choices on purpose. What was the last one you said? You said no, but that was two good ones. Some choices on purpose. Make those choices on purpose. Create that intentionality. Be intentional with your connections on purpose.
Yeah,
Create.
and then also it sounds like you said be vulnerable, because that person that overheard you was vulnerable and speaking up and saying, I would like to join you. she knew you were a core group, so she could have been fearful and said, "Oh, I know that's their thing," but no, she was open and said, "Hey, you know, I would like to be a part of this."
Any ladies over here or online?
I just wanted to say, and with those connections, I heard you say it's hard sometimes to let go of friends that you've been friends with your whole life. You do have those friendships. I have a friend, we've been friends since kindergarten. I have a friend, we've been friends since 6th grade. Now, there's been close friends in between, but those friends who know me, who knew me as a child, who knew me growing up, who know me dating, who know me while through marriage, who's been there with me, those friends have been my friends forever and will always be my friends. They've known me before I became a Christian. They've known me after I became a Christian. And those true friends accept you through all the stages of life. They are there with you to grow with you. And whether or not they agree with you, they still love you. And as far as dating, once you set yourself apart and you know what you're looking for in a spouse and in a partner, if God has it for you, it's for you. And some people, they won't even approach you because they know that they're not for you. They're not what God has for you. And so, I don't know if you've ever been at that point where you're like, oh, I'm just going to stop looking for people. If you know people, I'm going to stop looking for anyone. And I'm just work on yourself, because that's when someone comes into your life that's meant for you. So it may be hard to let go of those friendships, but there are other friends who will come and who will stick by you. And I don't know how close you all are to your family, but family is a wonderful thing, especially when they're your friends. And so if you have a strong family connection, strong friend connections, bring those friends in. Bring those friends in. And if they don't know Christ, you introduce them to Christ. And they'll look at you and say, hey, she's doing something different. And they'll see, they may see you going through some things. Like you said, you're going, seems like once you got baptized, you're going through some things. I think about Job, the book of Job. And Satan shows up in the presence of God. Can you imagine the audacity of Satan to show up in the presence of God? And God's just like, Satan, what you doing? What you been doing? Just roaming the earth, seeking whom I can devour. Well, have you tried my servant Job? Have you thought maybe you're like a Job? Satan is trying to get you. But you really do have to hold on to God's unchanging hand. And when people talk about going off on people, when your parents told you if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, that is true.
So I just wanna add something here, because I don't know about y'all, but for me, that's a struggle for me. Hold on to God's unchanging hand. In my brain, I know what that is, right? I know what that means. In the moment, practically, what does that look like when I feel like I'm not gonna make it through the day, right? When I feel like, actually, I don't wanna like kill myself, but Jesus, if you come back now, I don't really care if we're ready or not, because I'm ready, so we can wrap this up. You know what I mean? Like, practically, what does that look like?
Practically, when you think in the moment that you're just ready to leave this earth, we know that that's not what God has for us. Especially if you have children, you know that you don't want to put that on your children. You don't want to put that on anyone else to leave, for you to just be gone. You don't want that. And when I say hold on to God's unchanging hand, I mean you do have to stop, take a moment, pray about it. And sometimes when you don't know what to do, just be still. Do nothing. Right. Be still. don't know what to do, I just be still. Be still, pray, and wait for an answer. And sometimes things will just work themselves out.
Thank you.
You have to grow to that, to being still. We all have to grow to something. I've been listening downstairs as I was preparing y'all refreshments. And I love this topic about connections. Because if you're not being still and someone knows you, loves you, will tap you and ask you to be still. In love, a lot of things need to be done in love. When I first came back to Wyoming and grew up here as a child and as an adult, you know, like most adults, I thought I could live without Jesus. And then he showed me I couldn't. And so I made a conscious decision to come back. But I've never placed my membership anywhere else other than Wyoming Church of Christ. However, when I first came back and Calvin pursued me to marry him, there was a horrible rumor put out here in this church that Calvin and I lived together. And if someone had had the connection to me and knew me, would know and understand, I would never have done that. I have 3 younger sisters. I have younger nieces that I always felt that I had to be the guide. And it was horrible. And it's still painful. And the reason why it's still painful is because every now and then, somebody would come up to me and say, I remember that rumor, and then when I say it wasn't true, it's still not true. It wasn't true then, it's not true now. However, what I kept thinking in my heart was, why wouldn't any of the sisters come to me and say, hey, Reba, there's this rumor about you, and I'd like to help you with that. That's the importance of being connected, of being loving, of being understanding. I know I used to tease my mom about me being a twin. She said, child, if they gave me 2 of you, I would take one baby. Because I was a precocious child. However, when my mother spanked me, I never felt she didn't love me. And that to me is the key, is to being loved, being appreciated. And we're going to do something wrong. We're human. But if I need to be still, and someone comes to me and hugs me and say, Reba, calm down, be still, and that's coming from a place of love, I can receive that and I can do it. It's difficult to do that when someone is being combative towards you when you are in a place that you have never found yourself before. So ladies, I thank you for this subject, and I'm going to finish us.
Thank you. And I think that's a good point to note too. I want to piggyback off that. On Wednesday, Brother Smith talked about that, right? We all receive love in different ways. We all have different attachment styles. And so sometimes you have to take a step back and observe who you're interacting with so that you can deliver the message in a way that they will receive, right? Sometimes that means you stop and you consult God and ask Him to give you discernment so that I can say this in a way that Alexis will receive it and understand I'm giving this to her within love. And like some of us need tough love. Some of us need soft love. Like for me, tough love has always made me want to clam up and run because I didn't receive it growing up. So soft love now is like, oh my God, like this person cares. Even if in that moment I don't, respond, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna take this back and think on it and let this sit in my spirit. So I think that's a good point too.
And I see you guys are filling out your cards. So I'm gonna come to sister and then sister. But while you guys are still filling out your cards, please be vulnerable on your cards. What we want to try to find out today is what is truly your gift, and this is for people online as well. So what we're doing, we have a sheet, and it is a My Gift, Your Need connection sheet, connection card. So, and I'm sorry you guys will not be able to see it. If you ask me, I'll have it tomorrow.
So what we're doing is we're connecting through what we can give and what we need. So take a moment to answer questions. So ladies, if you're there, just write it down. So you want to write, what is your gift? So what is something that God has placed inside of you that you can offer to others? So when you're thinking of this, think of one person. So we're going to try to pair you guys with possibly one person. I'm hoping that it can be like an older, younger type of thing so we can really kind of grow. So some examples. So to be clear, we want to give good examples. Are you a good listener? Do you love encouraging people? Do you have wisdom from your life experiences? Are you good at praying for others? Are you good at bringing joy or positivity or positive energy? Are you patient and compassionate? Stephanie just talked about that soft love versus hard love. Think about those type of things that you're able to give. If you have the capacity, if you know that you're just a good texter, I'm a good texter. I'm just here for somebody when they want to text. Like, just be different. Think of different things. When it comes to your need, think of what is something that your heart is desiring to help, pray, or encourage with. So, for example, do you need support in staying strong in your faith? Do you need advice for balancing work, life, and motherhood? Do you need a prayer for your family? Do you need encouragement to not feel isolated? Do you need joy and hope in this season? Do you need to be texted every morning? Do you need to be called every other day? Do you need a hug? For my older generation, please think of what you're asking. Do you need a meal? Do you need food to be delivered to you? Think of what it is that you personally need and you don't care about the acts. Don't care about what the burden is, because that is why somebody is offering to you their gift. I'm a great cook. If someone needs a meal once a week, that's something I can do with my eyes closed and my hands shut. I promise you, your belly will be happy. So stay ask for something that is that you want to give and you know that you can give undoubtedly. Without hands of a doubt, you know that this person who's going to receive it is going to feel filled. And on the opposite end, what do you need to be filled? What do you need to have some encouragement, to not feel alone, to not feel, do you need somebody to play a game with you? These are
And even more than what's listed here too.
Yes, that's what I'm giving examples. Do you need someone to come play a game? Do you want to play arts and crafts? There's so many different ways for us to connect and grow. My babies, they need different things. I'm talking about my babies. Jamie, you my baby too, girl. But it's different things that you guys are going to need as children. What do you guys need? Do you need for us to come to your school? Do you need a mentor? Do you need someone to talk to about the lady cycles that comes along? Do you need to know about your body?
Or even your inner child, right? So I talk a lot about that because I'm in therapy too, and they talk about healing your inner child. So what's something that may seem like if you as an adult wouldn't say you need, but it will heal your inner child. One thing I want to add, and then I'll let you go back, Alexis, is Proverbs 27:17, right? We all know this, but how much do you think about it? Iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another. That's so important. That's so important. It's been times that I've gotten lazy and wanted to isolate, and so I missed a few Sundays. Y'all wasn't letting that happen. You know what I mean? And I needed that. So I always say, I might not come that next Sunday after you text me, but people who have reached out to me, I say thank you. I know this is what I need. I just have to work through it, in myself and on my own issues. But these things that we need, we have to be, and this is me talking to me as well, we have to be vulnerable and communicating what our needs are. Because God has given us all different gifts, right? And I'm not speaking like, oh, you're a teacher or you're a leader, but some of us are just really good listeners. Some of us love charity. Some of us love to be in service to one another, right? Some of us love to clean up. I don't know what kind of people these are, what kind of people you are. Some people love washing dishes.
Brittany Johnson, Sister Brittany Johnson loves folding up people's clothes while you talk to her.
She's dancing right now. Like that's her jam.
If anyone needs someone to come fold your clothes, she will do it.
Yeah, so I feel like God has given us these gifts. Sometimes we think about our spiritual gifts as us being on a stage or going out in the world and receiving all these praise about our gifts. But what about just sharing your gift with your sister? And that's your stage. Your connection with your sister is your stage, and that's how you show up, and that's it, you know, but we minimize that, I think, to a certain degree because it's not for the world to see and we're not gonna receive all of this praise and attention for it, but you may have saved someone, your sister, just by, you know, sharing your gift with her.
I was just about to say that. By doing something so small, you literally may be saving your sister's life. And what is it to know that one of us would be missing out of that pew because we did something that was unthinkable, because others are like, oh no, she's not drowning. I told you I was drowning. I told you that I need help. I told you that I need some type of connection. Somehow it was like, oh, she's fine, she's going to smiling. So sometimes, and even if you want to put on your paper, don't put a name. We can just read it off and then we can pair you up as we need to find it, and you want to be anonymous with it because you need to learn how to ride a bike because your mom never taught you how to ride a bike growing up. That didn't happen to me, but some other things happened, but I'm just saying. So, do you still want to speak? Still want to speak? So we're still going to give advice while everyone is writing theirs down. If you're online, if you want to put it in here and or if you want to come tomorrow, and we'll just have these. And I will take on pairing up if we need it, if we can't get it done today. I don't mind doing that. We can't be for more than one person, so please don't think that you have to only assist. It's about what you can give and what you can do.
And I think I heard Alexa say that she's gonna start something that I will help her with, but she's gonna start we'll have a box somewhere where we can put things that we need in the box and we can check it and see what our sisters need and it can be like, isn't that a good idea? I know I heard you say that.
Okay, I just wanted to say to you young sisters that you don't just have to look for the sisters of your age, you can look to us too. We're here for whatever we can do to help you. And I can tell you right now what you all can do to help me. I love keeping flowers out in my front yard. And because of my surgery last year, and my body not being able to move like it did last year, I need somebody to come over to my house and help me take the flower pots down there on the little anchors. You know, I have 2 bags, one for the pot and one for recycle. Because I just don't think I can get out there this year and do that by myself. And my son is more disabled than I am, so he can't help me do that. I found somebody to cut my lawn, but I like to have pretty baskets and flowers, and I need that to be done before time to get the new flowers.
Baby will get that, and I will make sure she takes care of it.
Okay, but just know that we are here, that we are here for you as well. You don't just have to look for the sisters of your age, the older sisters, and even if just to have somebody to listen to or someone to pray for you. I used to have a sister, she's passed now. She would call and she says, I know if I ask you to pray for me, you will pray for me. And she used to call me whenever she needed prayer, and she know I would stop right then and there and pray for her.
Can I say that?
How powerful is that though? Because sometimes we always send out a lot of prayers or say that we need prayers. And it's quick to say that we need a prayer, but how powerful is it to know that somebody stopped and really praying over and will stop their day and stop what they're doing to simply pray and take you forward? That is something that is good. I like it. I like that you put that show here. I might change it.
We got responses online.
So Sister Brittany Johnson said that being still is so important. God's revealed things when we hush up and listen instead of always acting and reacting. And that is true. I actually took that advice. I was really hurt the other day. Bailey thought something was wrong with me. I'm a talker, and I just shut up this one day. And she was like, Mom, please say something. Like, what's wrong? Like, she was scared that I was quiet.
and I just stayed quiet, and she was just, and so that is powerful to just stay quiet and to think and breathe, and that can help us take you forward. Once we fill these out, we can be ready.
I know it's a lot of sisters, that reached out to me when I was going through my struggle recently and stuff. And I thank them so much. I still thank them. Sister Reba, it's my girl. I love her. We got a different type of connection. And it's just amazing. Like, I don't care. Sister Reba, she's my girl. Like, I'll be like, what? And I used to hurt my feelings because I would see her kind of hurt about some stuff, and I'd be like, they shouldn't do her like that, or, you know, certain stuff. But I know that she's genuine, she's very kind, and she's just a loving person. Another sister that always reaches out to me, I call her my auntie, Sandra Nelson. You know, she really, like, encourages me, and, like, she even tell me, I'm gonna whoop your butt, and I'd be like, okay. Like, you know, but she does it in love. She does it with the kindness, you know. It's a lot of sisters here, a lot of them. Sister Smith, we grew together. She, you know, Brother Smith, a lot of people know that Brother Smith baptized me. But they were like the key into my growth as a Christian. Like, they took me and my sister on as they babies too. Like, they was youth coming on, we was youthing and everything together. So I was appreciative when they got here, and I still got so much love for them. And, you know, but it's those sisters that reach out to you when you don't really, you know, we be like, we got it, and smile and keep pushing, but there are moments, and like Sister Grace said, you know, you go through the thing of losing friends. I lost a lot of friends as I was going through what I'm going through. I'm still going through, you know, but I have 4 friends, really 4. I didn't grow up here, I grew up south. So when I got here, I didn't make a lot of friends because I was a senior in high school, and I was just like, I'm ready to get up out of here. So now, as an adult, I have adult friends that I made in my adulthood life, and we've been friends for like 9, 10 plus years now. And those are the people that, when I really need them, they're there. And it's the stronghold, like y'all said, you know, just staying still too. That is hard as heck, but I'm learning more and more how to stay still and just don't make no rational decisions. Thank you.
And I wanted to add something too. When we discuss what we need, right, we have needs that we might not even be aware of, right? So, what I always like to think about is some of the New Testament commands. So, like, love one another, you know, we all know that in John, and then serving one another, you know, we can find that in Galatians. Bear with one another, we can find that in Colossians. Forgiving one another, praying for one another, and more. I think that, you know, these commands, I think it's something with our generation, because when she was speaking, and I'm sorry, what's your name? Oh, you're Sister Slaughter's daughter. Okay, no, you seem like your daughter. So as I can't call you Sister Slaughter.
No, you
Trishelle? Marshall, okay. As Marshall was saying, it's something about us millennials, we like to isolate. I don't know where that came from, but we can't do any of these living together, praying for one another. We can't do these things in isolation. And as Sister People said, I think it is very important and just as Alexa started with Titus, is that we cleave to the older generation, because we need to see the example, right? Not just be told the example. I need to actually, out in life, see the example. So, not just on Sunday, I need to, as someone who wants to be married, I would need to see how Sister Smith interacts with Brother Smith, how Sister Gibson interacts with Brother, you know what I mean? Like, we need to see those things in real life, because your words will be there when I'm in the moment and it's my turn to react to my husband who's getting on my nerves because he keeps leaving his socks on the floor. You know what I mean? So, and I know, but what's the reaction though, right? You know what I mean? Do I crash out? I don't know if we all know what crash out means. Do I crash out? Do I, just ignore it? What do you do, right? I mean, we know the
You gotta
answer.
pray.
Yeah.
Pray that you will pick up your socks. Okay, right. Okay, so, if we have one or two people say what their gifts are, what their needs are, or how we can put them together.
Just a couple people.
Or while we're fellowshipping and can we do it while we're eating snacks? Can we do it while we're eating snacks that we kind of mix and mingle? Please mix and mingle, please pair with someone.
I just wanted to add something on the conversation. We're talking about, the things that we need to make the connections and things like that. But scripture also tells us that in order to get friends, you have to show yourself to be friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times too, sometimes we find ourselves isolated because we can have a standoffish persona ourselves, or like someone was saying, self-isolating. So, we really have to check ourselves and make sure that we are showing ourselves to be friendly. You gotta be approachable. Or if someone does come to you with some advice or some words of wisdom, you have to be able to receive. You may not know that person, but you take whatever it is that they say and you go sit with it and you ponder about it. And if it's something that that you can work with, or you find the truth in it, then you do something about it. But if it's not anything, you just throw it on out the church. You just let bypass it. But the point being is we have to show ourselves to be friendly in order to draw friends and draw connections.
And that is good. So what we're gonna do is we can, this is a prayer. What's his name? Mommy said, y'all gotta eat these snacks and fellowship. No, I do wanna ask for my need first.
I'm gonna let you finish. I just want you guys to know that Sister Snow is here from the Reverend Church of Christ to talk about the luncheon for the crusade. So before we close out with prayer, I just want to give her opportunity.
So my gift is gonna be cooking, my need, and I don't even know how to ask for this. I need a mom. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that ask even is, but I know that that is what I need. That's it.
You have like 50. I know. But that's my.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I really want to thank you for allowing us to pour into you. I remember when you came to Greg's services, and you have not stopped since. You said, I want to come back, you're back. Don't keep saying.
He brought me back.
You're here. And you are here. I got that letter for you. She did an awesome job for her lesson, and she had showed it to her professor, and this is one of the outreach that you do. So I have a letter for her to take to her professor to tell her how awesome she did and how she moved all of us with your lesson. And I thank you both for being willing to do so. I'll be coming back. We'll be talking about time, being on time, doing all those things and everything. But I thank you so much for allowing us, not just me, but all of us to pour into you, because you are our future. None of us is going to get out of here alive. And Marcel, thank you so much. Marcel. Thank you.
Because you was our co-host.
Yes, thank you so much for those kind words. I actually needed them today for several things that's going on in my life, and I really appreciate that. And I'll continue to be that person for Sister Snow, would you like to come up, and then we're going to have someone close us out in prayer? One of you can do it. Yes. You want to?
Again, good morning, sisters.